Chapter 17. The Philistines gathered to fight in Soko, a city of Judah. They camped at a place called Bloody Border, between Soko and Azekah. Saul and the Israelites gathered. They camped in the valley of the oak and prepared to fight against the Philistines. The Philistines stood on the hill on one side of the valley, and the Israelites stood on the hill on the other side. A man named Goliath, from the city of Gath, came out from the Philistine camp to challenge the Israelites. He was nearly 3 meters tall, and he wore a bronze helmet and also a bronze armor, which weighed 60 kilos. His legs were protected by bronze shin guards, and he carried a bronze javelin on his shoulders. His spear was enormous, very thick and heavy. The tip was made of iron and it weighed around 7 kilos. In front of him went a soldier carrying his shield. Goliath came, stood, and shouted to the Israelites, "Why are you standing there in battle position? I am the Philistine, and you are slaves of Saul. Choose one of your men to fight me. If he wins and kills me, we will be your slaves. But if I win and kill him, you will be our slaves. I now challenge the Israelite army. Send someone to fight me." When Saul and his soldiers heard this, they were terrified. David was the son of Jesse, from the village of Ephratah, near Bethlehem of Judah. Jesse had 8 sons. At the time Saul was king, Jesse was already very old. His 3 oldest sons had gone with Saul to the war. The first was named Eliab, the second Abinadab, and the third Shammah. David was the youngest son. While his 3 oldest brothers stayed with Saul, David went to Saul's camp and returned to Bethlehem to take care of his father's sheep. For 40 days, Goliath challenged the Israelites every morning and every evening. One day, Jesse said to David, "Take 10 kilos of roasted wheat and these 10 loaves of bread, and go quickly to take them to your brothers at the camp. Also take these 10 cheeses to the commander. See how your brothers are doing and bring back proof that you saw them and that they are well. Your brothers, King Saul, and all the other Israelite soldiers are in the valley of the oak fighting against the Philistines." The next morning, David got up early, left someone in charge of the sheep, took the supplies, and went as Jesse had commanded. He arrived at the camp just as the Israelites, shouting their battle cry, were going out to line up for the battle. The army of the Philistines and the army of the Israelites took their battle positions, facing each other. David left the supplies with the officer in charge of the baggage and ran to the front lines. He got close to his brothers and asked if they were well. While David was talking with them, Goliath came forward and challenged the Israelites as he had done before, and David heard it. When the Israelites saw Goliath, they ran away in fear. He said, "Look at him. Listen to his challenge. Whoever kills that Philistine will receive a great reward. King will give him great wealth, will give him his daughter in marriage, and his father's family will never again have to pay taxes." Then David asked the soldiers nearby, "What will the man gain who kills that Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? After all, who is this pagan Philistine to challenge the army of the living God?" Then they told him what would be given to whoever killed Goliath. Eliab, Jesse's oldest son, heard David talking to the soldiers. Then he became angry and said, "What are you doing here? Who is taking care of your sheep in the wilderness? You arrogant boy, you came here only to watch the battle? What did I do now? Can't I even ask a question?" Then David asked the same thing to another soldier and got the same answer. Some soldiers heard what David had said and told Saul. Then Saul sent for David. David came and said to Saul, "My lord, no one should be afraid of this Philistine. I will fight him. You can't fight this Philistine. We're just a boy, and he has been a soldier his whole life. My lord, I take care of my father's sheep. When a lion or a bear carries off a sheep, I go after it, attack it, and take the sheep. If the lion or the bear attacks me, I grab it by the neck and strike it until I kill it. I have killed lions and bears, and I will do the same to this pagan Philistine who challenged the army of the living God. The Lord God saved me from lions and bears, and he will save me from this Philistine too. Very well, go, and may the Lord God be with you." Then Saul gave his own armor for David to wear, put a bronze helmet on his head, and gave him a breastplate to wear. David fastened Saul's sword to the armor with a belt and tried to walk, but he could not, because he was not used to wearing those things. Then he said to Saul, "I can't walk with all this, because I'm not used to it." So David took everything off. He took his staff, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, and put them in his bag. He also took his sling and went out to face Goliath. Goliath, the Philistine, started walking toward David. The helper who carried his weapons went in front. When he got close to David, Goliath looked at him and began to mock him, because David was just a handsome and good-looking boy. Then he said to David, "What is this stick for? Do you think I'm a dog?" Then he cursed David by his gods and challenged him. "Come here, and I will give your body to the birds and the wild animals to eat. You come against me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the Israelite armies whom you have challenged. Today the Lord God will hand you over to me. I will defeat you and cut off your head, and give the bodies of the Philistine soldiers to the birds and wild animals to eat. Then the whole world will know that the people of Israel have a God, and all here will see that he does not need swords or spears to save his people. He is victorious in battle, and will hand all of you over to us." Then Goliath again began walking toward David, and David ran quickly toward the Philistine battle line to fight them. He put his hand into his bag, took a stone, and with the sling threw it at Goliath.
Ow.
The stone struck Goliath's forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. Then David ran, stood over Goliath. He took Goliath's sword from its sheath and killed him, cutting off his head. And so David defeated Goliath and killed him with just a stone.
Ow.
When the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, they fled. Then the soldiers of Israel and Judah ran after them, shouting, and chased them to the city of Gath and to the gates of Ekron. The Philistines fell wounded along the road from Shaaraim to Gath and Ekron. The Israelites returned from chasing the Philistines and took the things from their camp. David took Goliath's head and brought it to Jerusalem, but he kept Goliath's weapons in his own tent. When Saul saw David going out to fight Goliath, he asked Abner, the commander of his army, "Abner, who is that boy?" "My lord, I swear by your life, I do not know." "Then go and find out." So when David returned to the camp after killing Goliath, Abner took him to Saul. David was still carrying Goliath's head. Saul asked, "Boy, who are you?" "I am the son of your servant Jesse, from the city of Bethlehem." Chapter 18. Saul and David finished their conversation. Jonathan, Saul's son, began to feel a deep friendship for David and came to love him as himself. From that day on, Saul took David into his house and did not let him return to his father's house. Jonathan and David made a covenant of friendship because Jonathan had great love for David. Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David. He also gave him his military tunic, his sword, his bow, and his belt. David succeeded in every mission Saul sent him on. So Saul promoted him to commander of his army, and this pleased the whole army, including the other officers. When the soldiers were returning home after David had killed Goliath, the women from all the cities of Israel came out to meet King Saul. They sang joyful songs, danced, and played tambourines and lyres. They rejoiced and sang like this: "Saul killed 1,000, Saul killed 1,000, David killed 10,000. Saul killed 1,000, Saul killed 1,000, David killed 10,000. And Saul didn't like that. He became very angry and said, "To me the women gave 1,000, but to David they gave 10,000. The only thing missing now is for him to become king." And from that day on, Saul began to be jealous of David and to distrust him. The next day, an evil spirit sent by God took control of Saul, and he began to act like a madman inside his house. David was playing the lyre, as he did every day. Saul was holding a spear. Then Saul thought, "I will pin David to the wall," and he threw the spear at him twice. But both times David dodged it. The Lord was with David and had abandoned Saul. That's why Saul was afraid of David. So Saul sent him away, putting him as commander of 1,000 men. David led his soldiers in battle. Everything he did succeeded, because the Lord was with him. Saul saw David's success and became even more afraid of him. But in Israel, in Judah, everyone loved David because he was a brave leader. Then Saul said to David, "Here is Moab, my older daughter. I will give her to you in marriage, on the condition that you serve me as a brave and faithful soldier and fight the Lord's battles." Saul thought that this way the Philistines would kill David, and he himself wouldn't have to do it. David replied, "Who am I, and what is my family in Israel that I should be the king's son-in-law?" But when the time came for Moab to be given in marriage to David, she was given to a man named Adriel from the city of Mahola. But Michal, Saul's other daughter, fell in love with David. And when Saul found out, he was pleased, thought, "I will give Michal in marriage to David. She will be a trap for him, so that he will be killed by the Philistines." So Saul said to David a second time, "You will be my son-in-law." He ordered his officers to speak privately with David and tell him, "The king and all his officers like you. This is a good chance for you to marry his daughter." David said, "Becoming the king's son-in-law is too great an honor for someone poor and without worth like me." The officers told Saul what David had said, and Saul ordered them to say the following to David: "All the king wants from you as a bride price is the foreskins of 100 dead Philistines." It was revenge against his enemies. Saul had planned this so that David would be killed by the Philistines. The officers told David what Saul had said, and he was excited by the idea of becoming the king's son-in-law. Before the day set for the wedding, David and his soldiers went out and killed 200 Philistines. Then David took the foreskins of the dead Philistines and counted them out before the king, so that he could become his son-in-law. So Saul gave his daughter Michal to David in marriage. Saul saw and recognized that the Lord was with David, and that his daughter Michal loved him. That's why he became even more afraid of David, and for the rest of his life, he was his enemy. Every time the Philistine armies went out to fight, David won more victories than all of Saul's other officers. And so he became very famous.